Hey, what's up everybody? Aaron Puff with Awareness Motorsports here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. It is Friday night, April the 9th, and I am heading to the shop tonight to put the finishing touches on the new seats in Project Stalker. Also going to be checking the valve train, checking valve spring pressure, just making sure all the valve lash and everything is where it needs to be. As we are getting set to test here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We were planning on it tomorrow, but it looks like at US 131 Motorsports Park, where we were planning on going, there is a 100% chance of rain tomorrow, so I'm thinking that's probably not going to happen. So we're probably going to test next week. Once we get my car buttoned up, then we are putting the focus on the final thrash to get Dad's Superstock car together. We're waiting on some valve train pieces, got some exciting things coming there that I will certainly highlight on the channel here in the next week or two. Got some new partners on board, so we're excited about that. But our plans have really changed the last few weeks. We had originally planned and had been working towards heading to South Georgia Motorsports Park 3 weeks ago for the Southern Sportsman Shootout. And unfortunately ran into some issues with parts being delayed in getting to us, and just flat we're not able to get the car together in time to make that race. So congratulations to Bo Butner and Jason Lyon and Dave Connolly and all the guys that put that on. Randy Lynn Ship, you guys did an amazing job. We watched the live stream and we're super excited about it. So excited about the direction that some of those big money events are going, and look forward to the opportunity to make some of those in the future. And then we had actually planned on and had the car together for the NMCA race down in Atlanta this weekend. But again, looking at the weather forecast, was calling for over a 60% chance of rain all 3 days. And sure enough, they've been battling rain today, and the weather forecast looks really, really bad for tomorrow. So as much as I wanted to be down there supporting Raleigh Miller and the whole team with NMCA and NMRA, I just couldn't justify the 13-hour tow to go down there and sit in the rain. So we're turning our focus now to the first event of the Great Lakes Stock and Superstock Association coming up, actually back-to-back events, May 1st and 2nd at Mid-Michigan Motorplex in Stanton, Michigan. I'm going to have a full race on Saturday and a full race on Sunday with those guys, and we're for sure going to have my car ready for that, but are shooting to have Dad's car potentially ready to at least test around, either at that event or around that event. So good things coming, but we're heading to the shop tonight. Going to do some things on the Stalker, probably work on the Super Stalker a little bit, and I'll take you guys along for the ride, so stay tuned. So first thing we're working on is on the Stalker here. We are actually installing a Jegs aluminum race seat. It's actually a Kirkey seat that's made for Jegs, but found out that I sit too high in the plastic seats that we had in the car. We had some of the Jazz, really nice Jazz plastic seats with the nice velour covers on them. Really like the way they look and they're comfortable, but after running the car for a few years, I wasn't happy with where I sat. I sit too high in the car, so the Jegs Kirkey seats here are going to get me down in the car further, and just going to be, I think, a better fit and more comfortable. So that's the first thing we're doing. What are we doing, boys?
Yeah, just it can slide over without affecting that.
We're doing a little hood latch adjustment with Chuck and Scott. So what are we working on?
Trying to make that latch work right.
Hood does not want to close. Not good at 100 miles an hour.
No, it's not.
That's still.
I think this is what pushes the hood, springs it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the spring.
It needs to come up.
And let's see what Dad's working on here on the Super Stocker. What are we doing?
Putting some holes in brand new wheels. Hi guys.
Cutting holes in brand new parts.
That's right. One of the things you got to be careful about, obviously we're using a bias ply tire, and in a bias ply tire they want to creep on the wheels, so you have to put screws in the wheels. One of the things you need to be careful about, they've got an integral shoulder on the screw, and you need to get the hole in the side of the rim far enough out so it doesn't catch the radius on that safety bead there. So you can get the screw down tight. Now something that guys don't, I don't know if they normally practice or not, but something you need to do, these screws are extremely hard, the aluminum is soft. When you run them into the tire, after the tire is mounted and inflated to about 25 pounds, you run these in until they're snug, and then you back them off about a quarter of a turn. And that takes the stress off of that radius underneath the washer there. So we're in the process of doing this on the last brand new rear wheel for the Superstock car.
As I mentioned before, we're putting new seats in the car. And we went with the Jegs aluminum racing seat, which are, near as I can tell, manufactured by Kirkey. I think they're nearly the same as the 55 series Kirkeys, and really satisfied with how they work. They're real sturdy once they're in, really well constructed. And I got the black tweed covers that Jegs sells with them, and I'm really satisfied. I was kind of leery when I ordered them. I had heard some not great reviews on the Jegs website and from some various forums and stuff about the quality, but I'm really satisfied. The tweed's really nice, the vinyl's really good quality and thick, the stitching all seems to be great, and they fit really good, and they look great inside the car too. So that's what we've been working on here. Next thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to pull the valve covers and check the valve train, check valve spring pressures, and check the lash on all the valves, and just make sure everything's good there. And then as far as I know, the stocker is ready to go. Alright guys, so what I'm doing is I'm checking the valve train on the stocker, and let me walk you through what that means. So we're checking a couple things when we do that. First thing we're checking is valve spring pressure to make sure we don't have any valve springs that are potentially broken or getting weak. That can cause some issues, especially if you break a valve spring, drop a valve. Obviously that can be catastrophic, so we want to make sure we don't have any issues there. We also want to make sure that they're at optimal seat pressure so that we're getting the most power out of the engine. The other thing we're checking is the valve lash. Now this is a hydraulic roller motor, so in stock eliminator and specifically crate motor stock, what we have to run the valve train as it was from the factory. Now they've updated the rules over the last couple of years. We can put solid rollers in it. We just have not done that yet. So this still has a hydraulic roller lifter in it. So with a hydraulic roller lifter, what we do to check lash is we basically just make sure that the push rod can rotate. So the way you adjust these is when the motor is warm, we adjust the rocker arm down to the point where the push rod stops rotating, and then we back it off about 1/8 of a turn where we can just start to rotate the push rod again. So with the motor cold like this, I'm just checking to make sure that none of them are too loose or too tight. And then when we get to the track, warm the engine up, I'll run through and check the lash one more time and make sure they're where they need to be. But when you're checking the pressure, we've got our pressure check tool here. We just pull back on it until I can feel the valve come off the seat and then read the pressure. So this one reads, as you can see, about 180 pounds. And that's what we're looking for with all these. We've got most of them reading 180. We've got a couple that are 170, 175, which isn't too bad. So that's what we're checking, just making sure we don't have any issues, trying to head that off at the pass if we have any that are getting weak, and keep them from breaking. So I'll get you guys back in here to keep watching what we're doing. Alright guys, so we got the valve train all checked and everything checked out. As you can see, they all came in between 170 and 180 pounds, so right where we want them to be. And special thanks to Ken Jasuzik from Motorsports Unlimited. He helped us design the valve train on this car, as well as the Super Stocker, and we haven't had any issues. I've been running the same springs now for I think 3 or 4 seasons, and have had no issues. Really happy with the stuff. So that's the typical valve train check we do before we start the season and periodically throughout the season. And like I said, when we get to the track, get the car warmed up, I'll usually pull the valve covers and just check the lash again, make sure everything is as it should be, and we're good to go from that point. So next thing we're going to do, I'm going to pull the float bowls off the carburetor. Since it's been sitting through the winter, just make sure there's no gum or anything inside of it. Make sure that's all cleaned up, and then outside of some little last minute check things, the stocker is all ready to go. So we're going to turn our attention to the Super Stocker, which is mysteriously sitting under its cover over here, and it's time to get the last minute thrash going to get that thing ready to go, because our first event's coming up the first weekend in May. Don't know if we'll compete with that car, but we certainly want to have it ready to test right around that time. So that's what we're going to turn our attention to next, and we will keep you guys posted and let you be involved as we make progress on it. So thanks for checking us out, and if you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, drop a comment below on this content, or if there's other content you'd like to see, and thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have a great day.